पौष कृष्ण तृतीया दिनांक 4 जानेवारी कृष्ण 4 जानेवारी 2018 चरक चिकित्सा स्थान अध्याय 18 सूत्र क्रमांक 31 शंखं चक्रं जलौपान् चारुजोगश्चतुर्भिः I forgot सूक्ष्मस्वच्छातिरुद्यां शुकपरिविलसन् मौलिमम्भोजनेत्रं कालाम्भोदोज्ज्वलाङ्गं कटितटविलसच्चारुपीताम्बराढ्यं वन्दे धन्वन्तरिं तं प्रणमति च सदा वैद्यवर्गो धन्वन्तरिं निखिलगदवनप्रौढदावाग्निलीलं ब्रह्मणो हि समारब्धा मात्रेयाद्येषु पूजिताम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वेदरतं वन्दे माधवाख्यं महागुरुम् आयुर्वेदामृतं सर्वं शिष्येभ्यो यः प्रदत्तवान् द्रष्टा ज्ञानी दृष्टकर्मा कृतकर्मा तथैव च अध्यापको विषक्श्रेष्ठो महान् संशोधकस्तथा गुणैरेतैः समुदितैः यत्कार्यं कृतनोऽद्य सः संवृद्ध्यर्थं कार्यस्य वयं न प्रयतामहे सरस्वत्यै नमो यस्याः प्रसादात् पुण्यकर्मभिः बुद्धिदर्पणसङ्क्रान्तं जगदध्यक्षमीक्षते आत्रेयं प्रथमं वन्दे आयुर्वेदजगद्गुरुम् आयुर्वेदामृतं सर्वं गृहीत्वा हि सुरेश्वरात् अग्निवेशादिकृभ्यो यत् प्रयच्छत् मुनिसत्तमः प्रथमं तन्त्रकर्तारम् अग्निवेशं नमाम्यहम्। अद्य गुरुवासरः पौष कृष्ण तृतीया दिनांक 4 जानेवारी 2018 चरक चिकित्सा स्थान 18 सूत्र क्रमांक 31 विस्मृतं मया यत् अद्य सुश्रुतवाचनं भविष्यति इति भवतु नाम श्वः सुश्रुतवाचनं करिष्यामः। अद्य तावत् चरकवाचनेनैव भवतु। स्थविराणाम् इत्यादि स्थविराणाम् इत्युक्त्वापि जराकाश इति वचनेन स्थविराणां यः यो जरया देहक्षयकारिकया कृतः स याप्यः यस्तु दोषकृतः स साध्यः एव भवति इति दर्शयति। जराकाश इत्यनेन एव वार्धक्यावस्थाजनितः कासः इति सूचितम्। तथापि स्थविराणाम् इति यदुक्तं तस्य स्पष्टतया इदं मतं यत् स्थविराणां यदि जराकासः भवति चेत् तर्हि सः याप्यः, दोषजकासः यदि भवेत् तर्हि सः साध्यः भवेत् इति। अन्ये तु जराकासं दोषकृतेषु एव अन्तर्भावयन्ति। अन्ये जराकासं कासेषु एव दोषकृतेषु एव अन्तर्भावयन्ति। तस्य न पृथक् गणनं कर्तव्यमिति। जरावस्था तत्र याप्यावस्थायाः हेतुः इति तत्र स्पष्टतया अवगन्तव्यम्। त्रीन् साध्यान् साधयेत् पूर्वान् पथ्येर्याप्यांश्च यापयेत् चिकित्सामत ऊर्ध्वं तु शृणुकासन्दिबर्हिणीम्। ये तत्र साध्याः कासविकाराः कासप्रकाराः ते मूळ कासच आहे ना। पथ्येर्याप्यांश्च यापयेत्। ये च याप्याः कासविकाराः ते पथ्यैः याप्याः। एवं तर्हि असाध्यानां चिकित्सा नास्ति एव, किन्तु याप्यत्वं तावत् सम्भवति यदि बलवान् रुग्णश्चेत् तर्हि। चिकित्सामत ऊर्ध्वं तु शृणु कासन्दिबर्हिणी। अतोऽनन्तरं कासन्दिबर्हिणी चिकित्सा मया वक्ष्यते। त्रीन् पूर्वानिति दोषजान् साध्यानिति साध्यत्वेन उक्तान् ज्ञाप्यानिति बहुवचनं व्यक्त्यपेक्षया किंवा क्षतज कासाभिप्रायेण ज्ञेयम्. So if they are in Yapya category, then they have to be dealt with that. Otherwise, if they are asadhya, then there is no question of curing them. Those are which are curable, that should be treated well or curing or something like that. रुक्षस्यानिलजं कासम् आदौ स्नेहैरुपाचरे सर्पिर्भिस्बस्तिभिः पेयायुषरस क्षीररसादिभिः. So in a ruksha person, the anilaja kasa should be treated with sneha initially, with varieties of ghrut, sarpirvi, bastivi, with basti, peyayusha rasa, yusha kshira rasadi, and peyayusha kshira mamsarasa, etc. So these are all liquid diets in a way, and light to digest. So Agni is important in any disease, any condition, and Dravahara is lagu as compared to Guru normal Ghana Ahara or something like that. So whenever we feel that Agni is not enough to digest regular food or Ghana Ahara, it's better to switch over to liquid diet. And this is Santarpana as well. So this is not really Apatarpana. Langhana is Apatarpana, but this is Santarpana as well. वातग्न सिद्धैः स्नेहाद्यैः धूमैः लेहैश्च युक्तितः अभ्यङ्गैः परिषेकैश्च स्निग्धैः स्वेदैश्च बुद्धिमान्. So वातग्न सिद्ध स्नेह etc. धूमैः लेहैश्च युक्तितः. Dhuma and leha with yukti. So if at all there is more kapha that is obstructing vayu, then leha has some role. Dhuma may be used for kapha and vata both. Actually, this is not really in practice. So we don't suggest dhumapana for kasa in general. But that should be brought into practice. And abhyanga and parisheka. This parisheka is not being done. Abhyanga is done. Snigdhai svedhaischa buddhiman. Dharadhar actually. So dhara will also help in this situation. And snigdha sveda. So snehan and bahya svedana, snigdha sveda, pinda sveda particularly, should be used. If at all it is more kapha, then patra pottali is also useful. And one has to see that the kapha is expelled out, spitted out. Otherwise, if it is more vata pradanya, then snigdha sveda has to be used, which particularly pinda sveda. बद्धविड्वातं शुष्कोर्ध्वं चोर्ध्वभक्तिकैः घृतैः सपित्तं कफसकफं जयेत् स्नेहविरेचने. So baddhavidvatam bastibhi. If there is baddhavata or something like that, then it has to be conquered with basti. Shushkordhvam cha urdhvabhaktikaihi ghritaihi. If there is shushkatva in the upper part of the body, shushkordhvam urdhvabhaktikaihi ghritaihi, then urdhvabhaktika ghruta. After food. Ghee to be taken after food. प्रांगमध्योत्तर भक्तोत्सव अधो मध्यवर्गो देहगान व्याधीन्द्रिय धनम कुर्यादान चैथा. So if sneha is taken before food, it conquers diseases of the below part. If it is in between the middle part of the meal, then Madhya Deha, and Urdhva, after food, it is it conquers diseases in the upper part. So Urdhva Sneha, Snehapan after food material. Of course, one has to see that it doesn't create armor or indigestion. So the quantity of the food and the quantity of the sneha is to be adjusted in such a way that it pacifies the dosha but doesn't tax Agni. Sapittam sakafanjayet sneha virechane. Sapitta and sakafa has to be conquered by sneha virechana. So this is no woman has been suggested, but sneha virechana. And at certain times they say that even virechana includes vamana as well. So it all depends on whether to give vamana or virechana on the condition of the patient. And one may choose appropriate. Sakafa to be treated with vamana and sapitta to be treated with virechana. Shushkordhvastam shushkakasa grihitam va sapittam urdhvabhaktikaihi grutaihi jayet. So he has taken anvaya of sapitta to urdhvabhaktika gruta. Shushkordhvam eva sakapam sneha virechane. And in Shushkordhva sakapam sneha virechane. So Shushkordhva he continues for both Sakpitta and Sakafa or something like that. This is it can be taken in both ways. Shushkordhva is condition for which Urdhvabhaktika Gruta, because it is the dryness of the upper part of the body, so Urdhvabhaktika Gruta is enough. Sapittam, this may be associated with the Shushkordhva or may not be. And then it might go well with Gruta because it is Sapitta. And Sakafam and Sneha Virechane. And as I said, Virechana can be a Saujna for both woman and Virechana. So one may say that it is both woman and Virechana. If it is Sakafa, then Vamana and Sapitta is Virechana or something like that. Or what Chakrapani Datta says about this. He clubs all. Shushkordhva Sapitta Hrutapana. Shushkordhva Sapitta Sakafa Sneha Virechana. Something like that. And in practice, we have to note these conditions. And I'm not aware how to understand that it is Shushkatva in only the upper part of the body and not in the lower part or the middle part of the body. So this has to be understood. कंटकारी गुडिचीभ्याम पृथक त्रिंशत् फलादरस्य प्रस्थ सिद्ध भूता वातकासनु वंदिदीपनः. कंटकारी कृतम्. So only kantakari and guduchi, these two. पृथक त्रिंशत् फलादरस्य प्रस्थः सिद्धो भूता. So त्रिंशत् फल each and Ghrut prastha. So it should be a decoction. Or swarasa may be taken, but it's a bit difficult. This is Vatakasanut Vandidipanaha. So, simplest yoga or something like that. Now, Kantakari, according to Fansalkar sir, has a capacity to particularly digest Jalamahabhuta. Now, this is in Vata Chakasa. Kantakari is good for Vata Chakasa as well. Vata as well, or something like that. And in practice, what we see, we can see some inflammation or sore throat by physical examination. There might be some gilayu, etc., or pharyngitis kind of thing. And in some cases, so we need to deal with them with kantha as such, and generally this is kapha pittatmaka or something. So Fansarkar used to have Triphala Darvi as the main ingredient, and if there is associated Jwara, then Suvarna Suchekar and Jwaragna. Jwaragna he did not use. Jwaragna is from Datar Guruji. Sound of class may help to decide Shushkata in Urdhva Might be possible. But anyway, that will indicate that it is Shushkata. Only how to identify that is only in the upper part of the body. That is the question. So maybe this is of use. So in practice, if it is associated with Kantha, Kantakari is also a better choice. As I said, Triphala and Darvi, these are two things. But you may put Kantakari, you may put more Pakavastha than Pravala. And if you were Surna Suchekar, I also add Dvaragna in that condition. So that is another thing. And when there is Guruchi also along with this, what role Guruchi has particularly for this Vatajakasa, that has to be taken into account. And of course, this is Siddha Ghrut. So in Samavastha, this may not be a choice. If it is only Shushka Kasa, no Jwara, then this is a better choice or something like that. And Vandidipana. Still it is Vandidipana. And as I was telling that Kantakari, it has the action of, I guess, against kapha and trying to take it out through mutra. Kantakari Gokshura is another combination which was favorite of Pansalkar. So he would give Patamishran, Ananta, Kantakari, Gokshu. And Kantakari will liquefy that kapha and it will be taken out through Mutra Marga, something like that. So anyway, Kantakari is a cheaper medicine, easily available. Guduchi also is cheaper and easily available. And if we do not have Siddha Ghrut, we may go for powders of this with Ghrut Anupana. That is also possible. Kantakari ityada rasayati kvathe. So as I said, it might be possible to get rasa, but kvatha is generally a good option. Pippali Mula Chavya Chitraka Nagarehi. धान्यपाठा वचा रास्ता यष्ट्या वक्षार हिंगुबी गोलमात्रे घृतप्रस्तात् दशमूली रसाढके सिद्धात् चतुर्थिकां पीत्वा पेयामण्डं पिबेदनु तत् श्वासकास हृत्पार्श्व ग्रहणी दोष गुल्मनु पिप्पल्यादं घृतं चैतत् आत्रेयेण प्रकीर्तितम्. So this is Panchakola, Pippali, Pippali, Mula, Chavechitaka, Nagarai. In addition to that, Dhanya, Patha, Vacha, Rasna, Yashti, Kar, Hindu, Kolaprastha. Kutaprastha, Dashamuli, Rasadaka. So these are all Kalkas. And Dashamuli, Kwathas, that is Adaka, and Kutaprastha. Many occasions, Gruta is taken in Prasthamatra. Most of the Grutas are said to be Prasthamatra. And there is a say that you need to prepare the medicines in the same quantum that has been described in the text. What we generally try to do, if we do not require prastha, then we half reduce the matra to half or quarter or whatever is our requirement. Or if we want more, then we can double it or triple it or something like that, and then take it. But some Vaidyas say that if you require more, you can repeat the process and make it again or something like that. And but prepare it in that quantity, and if it remains, you can use it for some other patient or something. Now this is not really possible in commercial way, or if you have a rolling practice or something like that. Another important aspect that we need to understand, particularly when I was talking about further management in coming years, when the immunity is going to be low and infectious diseases will be very strong. So if we have medicines prepared by ourselves, that's the best thing to do. Because then we are confident that there is at least no ambiguity or no doubt about the quality of medicines. We know that it is prepared by ourselves, and our diagnosis may be wrong, our treatment may be wrong, but the medicine that we have used is proper or something like that. So at least we are satisfied with that. And secondly, we have to think of failures. That is another issue. So generally, in the initial phase, we may try to think of failures. In later stage, when it's a rolling practice, you forget about those patients who have not returned or drop off or something like that. Because the flow is so big that you don't have time to indulge into that. But truly speaking, try to find out the reasons. If a case is curable and has not yielded that results, then something is wrong, either on our part or on the patient's part, or maybe atmosphere or anything else, something like that. But we need to know that, understand that.
तिथे फक्त ते यष्टावत अवघ काय
म्हणजे यष्टी थोडंच यष्टी म्हणवलं जाणार. This might be just for Padapurana, for completion of the shlok. Yashtava, kantakara, or something like that. That avva is used at certain places, but it may not be so called. Avva is otherwise so called, but it may not have that sense or something. And it is just for Padapurana. So this is quite Pachan Deepan kind of Gruta. Kasa Shwasa Rutparshva Grahani Dosha Gulmanut. And Atreya Prakirtitam. This is said by Atreya. So again, Chaturthikam iti palam. Chaturthika ko palam.
सिद्धा
Chaturthikam pitva peyam mandam pibeda. So Chaturthika is phala and peyamanda to be taken after that. Actually, peya and manda are different. So manda is more liquid. Peya is little thicker to manda or something like that. And at certain places we find Krishnatrayena Bhashitam, Krishnatrayena Prakirtitam, Atrayena Prakirtitam, or something like that. So what significance does it have? Or this is Agastya Rasayana, this is Vasishta Rasayana, or something like that. So maybe when it is the author himself is giving this kind of reference, then that is more trusted reference as such. And most respectable by the disciple because it is from his own guru or something like that. Whenever I find information which Vansarkar emphasizes upon or Puratkar sir emphasizes upon, I try to speak about it. So it is more nearer to us or something like that. त्रिवृषणं त्रिफलां द्राक्षां काश्मर्याणि पर्वशकं
प्रस्थप्रमाण जेवढं सांगतात तर तेवढ्या प्रमाणात एका पेशंटला पूर्ण व्याधी जाण्यासाठी गेलं पाहिजे असं काही यांना एक्सपेक्टेड आहे.
might be. Now, whether it has association with the dose associated with the patient or whether in that particular combination this mana is perfect or something like that. Now, generally, if we want to have more quantity, we can duplicate, double or triple the contents and get the desired quantity also. In commercial use, there are very big vessels for preparation of ghee. So I have seen Arya Vidyashala Kottakal contains 100 kg of ghee or something like that to be processed at one time with steam jacket and other things. But still, whether it is proper to do like that or we should go in small quantities only. Of course, this is more troublesome to do in small quantities when we require in bigger quantities or something like that. I had a talk with them about using desi ghee. They say it is not that available at all in that quantity. So we don't have any option. We get only desi cow ghee in that quantity, and that is why we use it. So I suggested you can go at least for small quantity and say it, label it that this is desi cow, and there will be few people using it or something like that. Now, if we have our own manufacturing unit, then it will be possible. We have our own cow farm and our own manufacturing unit. Then we can go for it. And cost is a very different issue as such. And particularly when I am trying to use Mahakalyana Ghrut in cancer patients or something. The cost of this ghrut and other things is still a bearable amount as compared to chemotherapy and radiation and other things. But still, the people are hesitant to pay to us rather than paying to allopaths for chemotherapy. So they pay whatever amount is demanded for that. But it is very. Was there a tradition to prepare medicine after examining the patient in ancient times? I don't think so. Because if we really need to give medicines immediately, it all depends on flow of patients. If you have number of patients coming to you, and probably each type of patient requiring varieties of medicines or something like that, then you have stock of everything and keep on preparing everything or something like that. Whatever is more used, that you keep for yourself. I really wonder in Ayurvedic practice, it is dependent on so many variables, from diagnostic point of view and from treatment point of view. How to have perfection? That's a big issue. So Dushan Desham Balan Kalam Adalam Prakritim Vaya Satvam Satvam Tatha Haram Avasthashta Pratak Vidaha Sukshma Sukshma Samikshaisha Dosha Nirupani. So Vimala Vipala Buddhairapi Buddhi Makuli Koryu, if you are going to look into all these factors to arrive at a perfect diagnosis that this is this particular disease, this type, this avastha, Agni is like this, Bala is like this, patient's age is like this, or the causative factors are these, etc. etc. Tasmin pratikara yam pravrutti yam va nivrutti. So either I am going to treat that patient or I am not going to treat the patient if it is asadhya avastha, etc. etc. And this medicine I am using in this quantity with this anupana at this kala, etc., is going to either expel the doshas out or going to do shaman of that dosha or something like that. This is very well understood or very well judged before giving the medicine. And this has to happen in every patient, every time. So you can understand the magnitude, how difficult is Ayurvedic practice. And ultimately, we try to fit the patient into medicines and not try to find medicines for patient. So considering all these and having a good sound base of samvitas, that for this particular condition, this is the best suited medicine and that should be available. That is another issue. That should be well prepared with us. If not, it should be prepared within a short span and to be delivered to the patient. By that time, you use some other medicine and then arrive at appropriate medicine. So when the number of patients is very big and you have a continuous flow of varieties of patients and you are also looking for making medicines, preparation of medicines, and everything is handy with you, then it is possible to treat every patient in this particular way. But now what happens? We get engaged in our practices and you don't find time to look after preparation of medicines. At the most, what it can you can employ people, you can employ your students to do that. But then you should have sufficient number of students with ability and liking for preparation of medicines, etc. And even very simple drug can be used very effectively in any condition, even in advanced condition. Proper diagnosis and yukti pramana is required. And we lack in the varieties of aspects. We lack in diagnosis, we lack in choosing appropriate medicine, we lack in getting that medicine, we lack in giving it properly or something like that, like in experience of that, etc., etc. So as long as possible, as far as possible, we try to overcome the shortfalls and become a good Vaidya. So one way is keep on reading texts, so you have a grasp of the text and you remember that this might be the condition and this might be the appropriate medicine for that. As I said, we have a competition with conventional medicine right now, and if we want to establish ourselves superior to conventional medicine, we should be ahead of them. Right now, the condition is there are very few Ayurvedic practitioners, and very few of them are treating acute conditions or life-threatening conditions, and very few have sound theoretical knowledge and practical experience. In this scenario, it is very difficult to achieve our goal. So the best thing to do is keep on learning, keep on enriching experiences, and do things logically or something like that. That for this I am using this or something, and this would have been appropriate medicines. I don't have it right now, but I will try to procure it or something, and then you go for that. So it seems rather difficult that you identify the condition, you identify the medicine, prepare it, and then give it to the patient. But as I say, Suhas Parsure's father was of this kind, and he used to give only one medicine, prepared only for that patient, and the patient should get cured with that. So you should be very perfect in that, then only this is possible. त्रिषण त्रिफलां द्राक्षां काश्मीरी आणि परुषकम.
ते जर येतात की श्वास कास पाचक नाही तर एक्सपेक्टेड कासोत्तर हे व्याधी येऊ शकतातच असं आहे काय म्हणजे हे एवढं देण्याचं कारण काय?
This is again big question. We have two aspects to look upon. One is disease aspect and the second is the medicine aspect. Now, the Falashruti contains other diseases as well. Shwasa, Rutparshva, Grahani, Dosha, Gulma, etc. So, why the reference of these diseases? No, they have started with Vatajakasa. Basic adhikaran is Vatajakasa. And he is trying to explain medicines for that. And this is one of the preparations. Panchakola and other things, etc. And Siddhagruta. So, it is useful in these other diseases as well. That is the Falashruti. But then, this we won't find in Gulma Chikitsa or Shwasa Chikitsa or Grahani Dosha or something like that. The only mention is over here. But the Falashruti says that this is useful in those diseases as well or something like that. Whether it is going to act on those diseases or not, there is no doubt it's going to act on those diseases. Then why it is not incorporated in that disease? Because it is mainly for Vatajakasa and not mainly for Gulma or something like that. What we try to do in Aushadha Kosha, we put the Adhikar, one field as dedicated to Adhikar. So Tapyadiloha, or this particular pippalayadi ghrut, Vatakasa, Kasadhikar, that we mention over there. And the Falashruti will be repeated for Gulma. So in Gulma, this will be found Pippalayadi Ghrut Kasadhikara. In Grahani Dosha, we'll have this Pippalayadi Ghrut Kasadikara. There will be mention for Kasadikara. And those medicines mentioned in that Adhikara will have that Gulmadikara or Grahani Doshadikara, etc. etc. So when you find medicines for that particular disease, you will get references from that particular chapter, Chikitsadhyaya, and also references from other chapters, other Adhikara, with a mention that this is mentioned in Gulmadikara, this is mentioned in Kasadikara, etc. etc. Now, when it is mentioned in particularly in Vatajakasa or something like that, Kasadikara and particularly Vatajakasa also, it has strength to break the samprapti of Vatajakasa particularly. Now we need to understand the dosha, dushya, etc. in Vatajakasa. And if these are the same dosha, dushas, etc. in say gulma, in say rutpa, rutparshva, grahani dosha or something like that, then this is a choice. न कश्चिदिरोगो रोगस्य हेतुर्भूत्वा प्रशाम्यते न प्रशाम्यते चाप्यन्यो हेतुत्वं कुरुते पिच something. So it might be possible that Kasa might be producing these diseases and it may continue, it may not continue. In that situation, this is a choice of drug as such. Or at least that much part of the Samprapti is common in this Vatajakasa and say Gulma or Grahani or something like that. Then also this is a option to use this particular ghrut. Considering this, I had in my mind, and this was actually also in Gadgil Sir's minds. We had a talk about that. That we can link Kasa with Gulma, Kasa with Grahani Dosha, Kasa with Ghrut, etc. So we did to certain extent this exercise in Hetu Posha as an appendix to Hetu Posha. That Kasa Pippalayadi Ghruta Ruddosha, Kasa Pippalayadi Ghruta Grahani Dosha, Kasa Parshva Dosha, or Gulma, or something like that. So that creates a linkage between these two diseases through that particular medicine. And this is Pippalayadi Ghruta. We may come across other Siddham Kasa Haramte with Jwara Gulma Ruchi Pliha Shiro Parshva Shulan, etc. etc. Another medicine in Kasa, having Falashruti for Gulma, Jwara, Aruchi, Pliha, Shirorut, Parshva, Shulanut, etc. Kamalarsho, Anila, Ashtila, Shataksho, Yakshaya, Shataksho, Shayapaham. So we have linkages from particular disease to other diseases through a particular medicine. Now, if we really understand the samprapti of those diseases and the characteristic of that medicine to deal with that samprapti, we may use medicines more appropriately. And it might be upadrava, it might be concurrent disease, because if it doesn't subside, then it is a concurrent disease and this is useful for both or something. But still, this is quite clumsy. And the size of the kosha started increasing like anything. So we decided to stop because this was not our main objective. But at least there were 1200 records. Now in Samhita project I am putting this. So even Adhikara. And We can explore it later. Jamadagni sir has mentioned this point in his Lekha of Madhava, Madhavaya Swaha. These Vyadhis in Falashruti may be the probable future Vyadhis of patient. That is another issue. Future Vyadhis. They might be previous Vyadhis, they might be concurrent Vyadhis, they might be future Vyadhis. That all of the things are possible. But truly speaking, there are so many permutations and combinations, and there are so many samskaras as such. And to understand exactly what is happening, it's very difficult. So, as I said, I want to understand the mode of action of drug in Ayurvedic perspective. And we start with single drug first, then combination of drugs, then varieties of samskaras. So make a decoction, then mix it with make a decoction, then make avaleha, or become create a tablet or something like that. So there are varieties of ways in which the medicines are medicines are prepared, and what are the effects of these many processes involved. If we go for Gandha Tela, you have to keep the tila in flowing water for 7 days and then take them out, dry them, and then extract oil from them. This is something very strange. Or you have to give bhavana to the tila and then extract it or something like that. Then extract oil. So this is it's worth taking efforts to understand all these. And we have to understand it on two levels. The generation of disease is one level. Rogamadav pariksheta. Tatonantaram aushadam. Tatak karma vishak paschat jnanapuram samachare. So one has to start with the examination of the roga. How the roga has manifested, how it has been created. Understand the dosha, dusha, agni, etc., etc. Avastha, and then go for medicine. So, examination of medicine. Which medicine would be proper for this? Which adhikar to be used particularly for that? And then what quantity, etc., etc. So, how that medicine is prepared and how it will be acting against the particular condition in a particular situation or something like that. This is quite difficult, and just by analysis, are we going to get results? This is another issue or something like that. There might be some intuitional aspect associated with this. Sometimes some medicine clicks in your mind that this should be appropriate over here, and that works. You may not have any logic behind that. But truly speaking, when you are thinking about that for a prolonged period, this is an outcome at a particular instance. One may not know when it will happen or something like that. While working on Triskanda Kosha, when I was really mad, after demise of Polatkar sir, when I was looking on the records that had been generated, I was not finding out a way where we are heading. These all were very vague records. There was absolutely no discipline or no a particular path that we have to follow like this. And I lost my sleep. And one fine morning, I woke up at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and tried to analyze the situation. So, what is Lakshana? I started with when we are dealing with Lakshana Kosha, what is Lakshana? Then I arrived at a point that Shula, Ruja, Vedana, Pida, etc. are the Lakshanas. So when we say it's a Kosha of Lakshana, that should be the first word of Lakshana Kosha of any record as such. So L1 should be only Lakshana. Mhm. Then what are other words associated with Lakshana? In what capacity? What is the relationship between them? So how many relations are found? So Lakshana Visheshana is one relation. Shirashula we were splitting at Shulam Shirasi. But Shirasi also was written in L1. So I said, no way, we have to put Shulam only in Lakshan 1. And how many Shirasi etc. are there? It might be Urasi, it might be Shirasi, it might be Prushte, it might be Udare or something like that. So let us design one field or designate one field for Shariradi Bhava. Then its Visheshanas, Shariretar Bhavas, its Visheshanas, Vyakti Vishesha, Kala, Avastha. So these were varieties of things associated with Lakshana itself. So if I want to understand Lakshana as one entity, then Lakshana should be L1 and Lakshana Visheshana L1A, then L2 is Shariradi Bhava, L2A is Shariradi Bhava Visheshana, L3A is L3 is Shariretar Bhava, then its Visheshanas, then Kala, then Avastha, Partika, etc. etc. So that was a turning point for Kosha. And when I had everything clear in my mind, I called for a meeting and said, this is the way we are going to fill up Lakshana Kosha now. So forget whatever has been written up till now. You have to put it in this particular way. And this was the guideline for Lakshana Kosha. And the same thing happened for Laksha Kosha at Daksha Part as well. We were filling Vatajasya, Jvarasya in both ways or something like that. Initially, I found that anyway we have to find it from Vataja Jvara as well. But then I noticed that when I started looking at Vataja's Jvara, Vataja Kasa, Vataja Panduroga, every disease was repeated. There is no point in repeating the disease. So we made a system that it would be the main disease is prakara, it's upaprakara like that. So Jvarasya Vatajasya, Jvarasya Vishamasya Santatasya like that. In this way only we'll enter it into the kosher as such. Then the repetitions were avoided. And again, this Shariradi Bhava, Shariretara Bhava, etc., whatever were associated with Lakshya that were taken into account. Or in particular, Garbhini, Prathama Masa, Dvitiya Masa, Tritiya Masa, or something like that. So the Kala associated with that to be entered into that Kala factor, LY Kala, or something like that. And this is how the guidelines for Triskanda Kosh were set. Actually, we should have arrived from Triskanda Kosha into Lakshana Kosha or Hetu Kosha or Aushadha Kosha. We should have thought in a broader manner how to deal with Triskanda and then arrive at Lakshana Kosha, Hetu Kosha or something like that. It was the other way around. The same pattern we followed for Hetu Kosha, the same pattern we followed for Aushadha Kosha. So try to understand the entities, analyze all the records, see how many relationships are there, put appropriate field for each entity, and interlink them and give appendices. Main kosha will be Lakshan Laksha Kosha, Laksha Lakshan Kosha, and from Shariradi Bhava, Shariretar Bhava, Vyakti Vishesha, we prepare appendices for that and give cross reference into that in the appendices or something. Cross reference into the first volume, second volume, or something like that. So, Parichedavi Pandityam, Gadgil Sir used to say, to be able to make pieces, break it into uh, logical things, and think of all those together. This is Panditya or something like that. Now, when I started thinking about Samvita project as such, and to take care of this fragmented approach of Lakshan, Hetu, and Aushadha, I decided to go for only one database structure and try to set relationship between the words through science instead of going for Prathama Shashti syntax or something like that. And that is how the Pratipadika Kosha has evolved. So it was the previous experience that I understood that we should have started from Triskanda approach. Because I was working on Lakshana Kosha first, I started thinking about Lakshana and Lakshana as an entity and understand other words associated with this. But when I try to see the perspective of Triskanda Ayurveda as a whole with single database, because there are limitations when we create three databases. In computer, one has to use open three work areas. Select A, select this Hetu Kosh file. Select B, select Lakshan Kosh file. Select C, select Aushadha Kosh file. And then at certain time you call from A, B or C or something like that whenever you require. So this is quite clumsy. If you have a single file, just go for that, go for this sign, see, look for another sign associated with that in that particular record, get that word displayed. That is simple or something like that. So the logic is more simple when we have a single database or something like that. Now, only because I worked for Triskanda Kosha wholeheartedly and putting my whole mind into it, I could realize these facts. Otherwise, it is very difficult to arrive at proper analysis and proper linkages or something like that. So, uh, we started with the linkage of disease with another disease through a particular medicine. Now that is possible in Pratipatik project. Now, so whatever I couldn't do in Triskanda Kosha are the shortfalls in the Triskanda Kosha that I try to rectify in the Pratipatika Kosha. And to great extent, I have been successful. After 10 years, I may have some different approach. After working for Pratipatika Kosha and having background of Triskanda Kosha, I may have still different approach towards analysis and other things. We had a discussion. I had a discussion with Rasik, and I said, let us sit together and try to think of IT application for Ayurveda. This is a huge task. In what way we can apply IT in Ayurveda, whatever form. May it be Triskanda Kosh project, Pratipatika Kosh project, diagnostic treatment software, or exploration of data in varieties of ways for particular purposes or something like that. We decided we didn't go for it. We require 1 or 2 days to spend for that. So we can have electronic library or something like that. We can have sharing of references, etc. Let there be a depository in electronic format, and we can take out any particular reference for a particular purpose or something like that. So the Heidelberg University has digital corpus of Sanskrit. And you can find any word anywhere in Sanskrit literature they have created like that. So that is word index. But only this is not useful, because we need to have a particular purpose for what I am doing this. I am doing this for Tiskanda Kosh, I am doing this for diagnostic software, I am doing this for treatment software, whatever it may be, whatever the purpose. And from that point of view, I collect all the references, etc. So might be I may think in a different way after another 10 years and may have some other project in my mind. But anyway, this exploration of Ayurvedic text through Pratipatik project is itself a huge project. There is no doubt. And the usefulness will be understood only when it will be put into practical use. First thing is to do it meticulously, and second is then try to make practical applications from that. And if you have applications in your mind, then only you can put inputs into that. Otherwise, it is not possible to do it in that particular manner. So anyway, I'm struggling with that right now. It will come up with very good results. I don't have any doubt about that. And then writing of new samhita is further aspect of this. This will be another big project as such. So anyway, we conclude today and continue tomorrow. आयुर्वेद प्रकाण्डो निगदितैः हि शल्यतन्त्रप्रधानः शिष्येभ्यः शाश्वतोऽयं निखिलजनकृपा व्याप्तचित्तेन येन आयुर्वेदस्य वाञ्छन् पुनरपि भुवने ताञ्च सुष्ठु प्रतिष्ठा श्रेष्ठं धन्वन्तरिन्तं प्रणमति च सदा वैद्यवर्गो हि नूनम् वैद्यवर्गो हि नूनम् विरम्यते व्याख्यानव्यापारः श्वः पुनरपि मिलिष्यामः श्वः तावत् सुश्रुताध्ययनं कुर्मः।